Director Dan Trachtenberg returns with a brand new Predator movie. This time there's a major twist. The Predator itself takes center stage as the main protagonist. But the real question is, does this direction live up to the last entry in the Predator franchise? Let's get started on my review of Predator Badlands. Let's go. What's going on, all my beautiful people? This is Jacey, and I just got back from watching Predator Badlands. Before I do start my review, please note this will be a spoiler-free review, just in case you haven't seen it yet, showing in theaters this weekend. Also, please make sure that you hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell to stay up to date on more sci-fi Predator films that I'm reviewing just like this. So Predator Badlands stars Elle Fanning, Demetrius Kolomotangi, and honestly, that's about it. Now, what can I say about the Predator franchise, but that it's had a lot of ups and downs. Let's just say more downs than ups, I guess you could say. But really, since that first iconic film starring Arnold Schwarzenegger and then on, a lot of films have just not been able to live up to that hype. I mean, we've gotten movies about multiple predators, about big predators, ones that you can't really defeat that easily, and a lot of ones, let's just say, that are not to be mentioned. And also even one that divides fans when it comes to part 2, starring Danny Glover. And that one I thought was always entertaining, but I know it's not really been one of those definitive type of movies, and a lot of the ones that followed, they just have never really lived up to the hype of that first one. Now, a few years ago, post-pandemic, we got a brand new Predator film that was released on Hulu called Prey, directed by Dan Trachtenberg himself, and the movie surprised all of the fans, with myself included. Not only should that movie have been a theatrical release, but it's one of those underrated films that I feel like beautifully executes the Predator unlike we've ever seen him before, and even some warriors that end up going toe-to-toe with the creature himself. And we also got another entry earlier this year titled Predator Killer of Killers that was amazing to say the least, also from Dan Trachtenberg. So when it was also announced that he would be releasing another movie, but theatrically, I was on board because I've seen what he's done with Prey as well as the animated film, and I thought, okay, this will probably solidify him as being the go-to guy for this franchise. So set on one of the harshest planets ever in the Predator series, Predator Badlands delivers a gripping sci-fi survival story from a bold new angle. This time, the Predator itself takes center stage, which I was very surprised when he did announce this because the animated film took a different approach as well, giving us a perspective from 3 different warriors in 3 different time periods. But this one, when he did announce that it was going to have the Predator itself being the main protagonist, I thought this can either go horribly wrong or really deliver. And man, you guys, this delivers. The story itself, this is just a brief synopsis, by the way, guys, follows Dek, a young Yaocho warrior trying to prove himself after being cast out of this tribe for being too small and inexperienced. Determined to earn his place, he sets out on a dangerous quest to defeat a legendary creature called the Kalisk on the deadly planet Genna. And that's really all you need to know, you guys, because this movie delivers not only so much action, but also really gives us Predator fans what we've been wanting for years. A badass and some great fight sequences and a lot of different creatures on a planet that is unknown. I love the survival techniques that are taken with this approach by Dan himself and just his team. Early on, the movie plays out like a survival adventure, really, showing Dek struggling to adapt to an alien wilderness full of strange, lethal creatures. Things take an emotional turn when he meets Thea, an android played by Elle Fanning. And yes, you guys have probably seen her on the trailer, and there were times where I thought, okay, is she gonna get a little annoying? But I felt like she brought a great levity to the story and also some comedic one-liners that were kind of funny and also balanced a lot of the story from being so serious. But her character was left for dead after her crew was wiped out. Together, they form an unlikely bond as they battle through Genna's hostile environment in search of redemption and meaning. And I feel like that's the heart of this story, because not only do you have her kind of being the polar opposite of Dek because he's so serious and he's so straight-edged on this mission mission of proving his worth. Also, you have her saying some funny stuff, really just trying to understand him, especially the emotional sensitivity that she brings to this role, as well as her character in general and how the character's written. Dan Trachtenberg's direction keeps the story focused and heartfelt, balancing tense moments with quieter emotional beats, which again is what Thea, aka Elle Fanning, brings to this movie. Even though the idea of an outcast seeking glory isn't new, Badlands refreshes it with strong world building, clever storytelling, and a surprisingly human message about identity and purpose, even when there are no actual humans on screen. I thought it was very interesting from the trailers because I thought, okay, so she's probably gonna be the character most likely that's speaking English, kind of to be that middle ground between us understanding the Predator, and she does bring that, but it's interesting to see him still speak his language, reading certain subtitles, and don't worry you guys, it doesn't go too fast, and I feel like it's done in a way where it's not too overdone with his character. A lot of his stoic type of figure, as well as his presence, you kind of feel it in him being a warrior and just trying to prove himself. And this is a perfect segue to talk about the acting. Elle Fanning gives a standout performance as Thea, the curious yet determined android who becomes Deck's unexpected ally. Her delivery captures both warmth and melancholy, making her character feel alive despite being synthetic. And yes, there are some moments where it can be a little cheesy, but to be honest, the action and a lot of Deck's stoic nature and even his brooding behavior, it balances out pretty well. Fanning's chemistry with Deck's actor, aka Demetrius Schuster Kalamatangi, does such an amazing job, gives the film a solid emotional backbone. It's kind of like a buddy adventure film with their dynamic, and I did really enjoy that. Although a lot of purists of this franchise may not be crazy with that, trust me, this is something new that I feel like if you embrace it, you're gonna love it. Schuster Kalamatangi brings intensity and depth to Deck. Even though much of his performance is nonverbal, he does a superb job. He exemplifies a lot of emotions through subtle movements and expressive body language, and he makes you feel for Deck's frustration, courage, and eventual growth. And together, their dynamic feels authentic, part survival, partnership, part emotional awakening, which is rare for a Predator movie, and I was not expecting that going into this. Predator Badlands expands that Yautja mythos in fascinating ways. So for a lot of the purists out there, if you're watching this and you love the franchise, just trust me, open your mind. It's the first time in the film franchise that it fully dives into the Predator homeworld, their culture, and their code of honor. Love that. We see how the Yautja society values strength above all else, and how Deck's struggle against his tribe's expectations mirrors themes of individuality and self-worth. It's pretty harsh, but also not too harsh to where it doesn't make you believe that it is Predator's kind, aka the Yautja. You really do buy into it because the Predator's always been about being the strongest and the best warrior. And the movie also introduces the Yautja Codex, a set of guiding laws that define their way of life. And I also wasn't expecting that, but it was a very good type of element to bring to this film. This edition gives fans more insight into their beliefs without over-explaining everything. It strikes a good balance, answering questions about the species while keeping their mysterious nature intact. So one of the things I was thinking about as I was watching this film was I was like, ooh, are they gonna bring a little bit too much to the character to where we get tired of seeing it, or just revealing too much? That takes away a lot of the Predator's brutality and even that mysterious nature about them. No, I feel like Dan did a really good job of giving us a little bit in glimpses and also giving us some of the things that would help us with context throughout this film. And let me tell you guys, for longtime fans, Trachtenberg continues to build on what he started with Prey and Predator Killer of Killers, deepening the universe while keeping it consistent with past entries. The result is a more complete and intriguing look at the galaxy's most feared hunters. Now, the last thing we do got to talk about is the action, because man, it is non-stop in this film, and I loved that. So epic, so many scenes that I was just, my jaw was on the floor, I swear. But even with its PG-13 rating, because yes, I know that kind of had a lot of people talking when it was announced that this would be PG-13 and not rated R, Badlands doesn't hold back on intensity, and that was awesome, probably the best part about it. These fights are brutal, creative, and visually stunning, but Deck's battles rely on both his high-tech gear and his ability to use the environment to his advantage, blending blending classic Predator tactics with fresh, inventive choreography. I loved how smart he was and how he caught on to things. It reminded me of why Trachtenberg's Prey was so good in the first place. The action peaks in the final act with a sequence that perfectly captures what makes the franchise thrilling: smart strategy, raw power, and the signature mix of tension and spectacle. The creatures of Genna are well designed, from carnivorous plants to winged predators, creating a constant sense of danger and wonder. What stands out the most, though, is how the movie balances violence with meaning. Each battle feels earned and personal, serving Deck's journey instead of just filling screen time. Alright, so here are my final thoughts, you guys. Predator Badlands proves that the franchise still has plenty of life left in it. By switching perspectives and giving the Predator a voice, literally and emotionally, the movie manages to feel fresh without losing what makes the series iconic. It's packed with strong visuals, exciting action, and surprisingly heartfelt themes about identity, survival, and self-discovery. Yes, Dan Trachtenberg did it again. Man, in him we trust, because I'm excited to see what else he does with this franchise. With all that being said, you guys, I'm gonna give Predator Badlands 4.5 flames out of 5 and a super fire film rating.
It's fantastic.
Yes, this film is great and even surpassed my expectations. It is an amazing film, and I love the bold new direction that Trachtenberg himself decided to take with this film while staying true to its roots. Man, he balanced it so well. And to answer my question in the beginning, I feel like this film not only lives up to the hype of the Prey movie, but I feel like this honestly surpasses it, and this might be my favorite film out of the franchise aside from part 1. Okay, calm down here. I won't go that far, but this film is for sure worth seeing for all fans, and even if you're not a fan, I think you'll enjoy it. Alright guys, so have you seen this film yet, or are you looking forward to seeing it in theaters? Let me know in the comments below. Last thing before I do go, you guys, please make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell to stay up to date. My name is Jacey, and until next time, I'm out.